We're just gonna have some fun.
All right.
Like we always do, right?
Yes.
And of course, I think that's the thing when you and I have our conversations, it's fun,
Mm-hmm.
it's enlightening,
Mm-hmm.
it is inspiring, and there's always some good growth on both sides that come out of it,
Ditto.
right?
It's
And I love it.
organic.
It's a really good experience. So
Yeah.
I want to go here. So let's go back about a month or so before you started working with me. A month or so before you started. If you
Okay.
can think back that time, what was your biggest fear, your biggest doubts, or even your biggest insecurities before you began working with me?
I would say my biggest had to be so a month before we started our work puts me in February. So like February was a tough month. For a couple of reasons. February was tough because it's the coldest month. I suffer from winter blues, so typically the lack of light puts me in a mental space that's lower than usual. It was a tough time. If I had one word to describe that, it would be hopeless.
And if so, the idea is you felt hopeless during that time. Like a lot was going on in the season. You deal with that a lot too.
Yeah.
And so, how did you feel in your body daily, in your personal and your professional life? What were things that were going on in your? What was the energy you're feeling in your body during that time?
So body, total sluggishness, and how that played out in my life. So not getting the endorphins that I needed. So I'm a jogger, right? And as such, I'm used to running at least 3 or 4 times a week, which really helps with my mental stability. Winters is a lot harder because it's so cold and the weather, and I'm already not in a good space mentally, so it makes it hard. So I would say sluggish, lethargic. Sleep was like the highlight, right? So that was a twofold question you asked me, Coach. You asked for physicalness, right?
So I asked, so how did you feel in your body daily, like in your personal and your professional life?
Definitely not in a good space.
Okay.
Definitely not my 100.
So not enjoyable. Things were. It was kind of tough to get through the day.
Mundane.
Right.
Robotic.
So now, what's the difference between back then and now in regards to your peace of mind and your emotions and how you think? What's the difference between the time about a month before we started to now? And now it's month 7, so we're about maybe 5 to 6 months in on the program.
We spoke about this the other day. I feel the best way I can describe it is I was in that caterpillar stage, right? Even before. And now I'm in that full bloom. I'm that butterfly, right? Like I'm not 100%, but I'm so much more closer. I'm a whole different person. I went from hopeless to really understanding that I am the main character in my life, that I can have mental resolve, me.
Yeah.
That I can tap into that which is within me, which is good and powerful. I'm so different from that person.
I feel that.
Yeah, I'm so different from that person. I'm so glad that I spent the money on myself. Right.
Yeah.
It's a new Kelly. It's a new Kelly, down to my taste buds.
Wow.
Down to the people that I am with, that I surround myself with. Some people are just not a good match anymore,
Mm.
and that's okay. There's a lot of takeaways from how I feel today versus February, right? One of the greatest takeaways, without a doubt, is empowered.
Mm.
I am empowered to drive my life.
Oh, I love that.
And when you and I first started working, Coach, I was hopeless. I was, life was leading me, without a doubt. I woke up, I did what I had to do as a responsible adult, but there was no drive. It was mostly fear-based, right? Gotta get up so I don't lose my job. Gotta go to work so I can pay this mortgage. No joy. Where today I'm really crafting and creating what makes Kelly happy. And that's super cool.
That's awesome. That's amazing to hear that. Yeah. So getting back to the beginning, there was a moment, if you could think about it, there was a moment like just before you signed up to work with me, where you weren't sure. Maybe you thought, should I get my credit card or should I hit send on the button right now to hit for the deposit? At that moment, what was the hesitation? What made you hesitate?
Couple things. Originally, the number sounded big, right? Like a big investment. I'm a frugal person. So it's like secondary. I'm not used to gifting myself, spending on me. I'm used to taking care of others and making sure they're okay. So for me to make this investment on myself, it's like, no.
Wow.
I'm so happy that I decided to invest on myself.
Amazing. So on that issue, what was the biggest issue you had at that moment when you did hesitate?
Money. I wasn't so okay. So money being at the top, right? True transparency. I do a lot of work on myself, right? So I do like the morning routine. I was a bit skeptical in terms of like whether or not this would be something that would benefit me, right? Because I felt that I was doing the work, right? And then like that voice in the back is like, well, if you work a little harder, you'll get to where it is that you need to get to. You won't be hopeless anymore, right? So that initial doubt of whether this was going to be helpful or not.
That's valid.
Right?
That's valid.
Third, being vulnerable. Right? It's hard. As an educator, I'm used to being in the leader role. Right? I'm not used to being on the other side.
Right.
So to be able to be completely vulnerable and open up to someone, the good and the bad, that's not, that doesn't come naturally.
That's not easy.
That's not easy. Yeah. That's not easy. But I was in such a vortex, in such a space that I knew that I needed this.
So that's what leads me to the next thing. And I value that you share that with me because that's important. Because we all have that voice that's a skeptic saying, I don't think this is going to work because we're investing into something that's going into the future. We don't know what it is, right? So the next thing is, when you got that, what made you say, all right, I'm in. All right, I'm doing it. Let's go.
Two things. When we spoke about it, you introduced the 3 programs. Right? And what attracted me the most about the self-mastery program was the fact that not only was it going to follow the grit, right? So that system, because I'm visual and I'm also that person that needs that order, right? So when we had that conversation in terms of the layout of what it was going to be, it fit with my personality.
Gotcha.
Right? And it was aligned with what I ultimately wanted to achieve, right? Which, if you recall, I wanted to be my most authentic self, right? Like I really wanted this new person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, say the question again.
Yeah, sure. So when you were at the point, we talked about what worried you the most.
Making the decision.
So what made you say, "All right, I'm in. I'm going for this"?
And then, so I had tried a couple of things on my own, right? So I tried like social groups, I tried church, I tried a couple of things. And I still wasn't that hopelessness was not leaving. And it was scary. I knew that I was not being my best, nowhere close to it. And I was experiencing on a balance beam a lot more sadness than joy. And it was only a matter of time. I knew that I would be experiencing that level of sadness and not like fully break. So that greatness, that enormous feeling of not being present,
right,
or fulfilled, I was like, I gotta do this.
So you're at a place where you tried everything, you tried a bunch of things, and it's like, this has to be this.
I have to try this.
I have to try it. I have to go.
I don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. So from the time we started up till now, what have been the top 3 results that you've had from working with me?
Top 3. That's tough. But first and foremost, my drive, the momentum. I wake up intent, fully intentful. I wake up and I carry myself in a way in which I know that I'm leading. That's at the top, because that scaffolds into so many other areas, right? If Kelly's confident, as Kelly, and I didn't understand that in its fullness, then Kelly is a confident mom, confident wife, etc., etc., etc. Right? So that's top. I'm not hopeless anymore. I'm excited. So there were a couple of things going on in October. And then, as life would have it, I thought things were rough in February. I said October, I just realized.
Yep.
February. They got a lot worse during our time together.
Yeah.
And so, second thing that is one of the greatest takeaways from this experience, I no longer look at the problems as problems. I now look at them as projects.
Ooh. Wow.
Hard stuff, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to do that is life altering, because instead of being fear driven and really like falling apart, for lack of words, falling apart, I now am like, as silly as it sounds, I'm now excited, because it's a project.
Yeah.
My perspective is different.
Now
it's like, okay, all right. So what do I got to do? What I got to tackle? So I don't say that to say that I'm not, that fear is still not there, right? But the way I'm tackling things is way different.
Yeah.
It's a project. It's not a problem. No such thing as a problem. What can I grow? How can I grow from this? Yeah. What can I do with this? Third takeaway. I am really Kelly Evelyn Morales. Period.
Yeah.
Life is about evolution, right? Evolving. I think this is my finest. You think about self mastery, and that's like such a big, right?
Concept. Yeah.
That's huge. This is my biggest, best version. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's uncovering the greatest you that's within you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what most people struggle with. It's hidden.
Mm-hmm.
It's hidden behind, and I just help you just uncover it and reveal it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hands down, one of the best investments I've made.
And what has it been like? When you have those tough moments, and we've gone through some tough moments during your time with me. What does it feel like to have a guide? What does it feel like to have somebody that, you know what, I'm going to have a conversation every week with somebody who's going to help me, guide me, and not feel alone?
You can't put a price on it because regardless of what your outside support group is, there's biases, right? So when you invest in yourself and you have that coach, you have that resource there. It's like having that mask, right? Planes going down, coach, I'm going through it. I please help me out.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, there was times that I was at work and I'm over here on WhatsApp, like, okay, nope, I can't see the boxes, coach. And that's sometimes that's all it takes. Those 5-10 minutes from someone else,
Yeah.
whose business, not someone who's related, not someone who has your best interest, but could be biased, right? So this is business. 5-10 minutes, boom, you see the problem in a whole different way. Yeah. The outcome is different. You can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on that. And then, you've held me accountable for my stuff. So when I'm meeting with you on a weekly basis, I can't sugarcoat it because you're expecting me. And so because you expect me, I don't know how else to put it, because as my coach, you expect me to do my homework, which you give me every week. I gotta expect it of myself.
Yeah.
Right. So that holds me more accountable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. It makes so much sense. This makes so much sense. All right, just a couple more before we take you off the hot seat.
Okay, cool.
Doing okay so far?
So far, so good.
All right, good. A couple more. So, what would you say, as you spent this time together, when you consider the way I work with you, what would you consider to be my zone of genius? Something the thing that I do that makes the biggest contribution to you.
That's a really good one. What I enjoy a lot of things during our sessions, but a couple of the big ones. I love your level of preparedness. You always come with that high level of preparedness. And so what I mean by that is I can expect you to come in and give me that guidance during that session, and some of it is just unscripted, right? Because some of them we planned before what we're going to talk about, but because this is where I'm at, you're such a good coach that you're able to flex it to what I need, and that's powerful, right? You are gifted at your mode of delivery, the way you present things. What's the right word? The way you present things is so comforting. The expectation is there, but the delivery is really compassionate. So one of the things that you say for you that you say that puts down the guard. It's like, I want you to consider, right? That's a big deal, as opposed to, I need you to do this. Is like, to consider. You're putting it on my ballpark, right? So I really, because that lets down the guard. Like, here's a couple things I want you to consider. That being able to be in that space where I know you're gonna listen to me, but you're not judging me, which is very big for me, right? And for most human beings, right? So I'm in a safe, non-judgmental space where I know that you're taking it in, and I know that you're listening and you're taking notes. Your rephrasing is really good, coach, right? So, and that's important to me, right? Because how else do I know that you're really capturing what it is that I'm saying? Right? And so what you do is you take your notes, but you do it in such a way where you're taking the notes and you're still paying attention to me. And then you're paraphrasing what it is that, the biggest points, right? So while I'm babbling along, you're able to bring it back to, okay, well, let's unpack this. That's another word that you use a lot, which is like super cool.
That's amazing. It's so cool to hear this feedback. Just makes me understand where we're at. It's so cool, and I appreciate you doing this. All right, last one, and we'll take you off the hot seat.
All right. Here we go.
So, what do you appreciate the most about me that you think others may not see?
You are, well, I think people will be able to see this. You are very knowledgeable, and it's organic, right? So we talk about so many things, right? And you're very witty. You're very, okay, well, how about this? How about that? I learned this here. So your resources are unlimited, right? And even at those points where you're not giving me that feedback that's connecting it to a resource, you're like, you know what, next week we'll come back to this, and let me do some research on this, so it's that resolve, right? I don't leave a session with that, like, oh, I wonder how I could do this, right? So that's, because let's face it, that a big part of this relationship, this client coach relationship, relies on the resource that you can give me, right? Because that's a big reason why one would sign up, right? Because you're giving me those tools that I can't get myself. So you're very resourceful. It's a working, chilled environment. And what I mean by that, like when we see therapy going on, and I think this is one of the things that differentiates traditional therapy and coaching.
Okay.
Yeah. It's chilled. Like sometimes I'll come in at the beginning of the session and I'm having like a freaking horrible day. And you're with your guitar. That immediately is like, oh, look at this dude. Like he's having all right, and like my subconscious, all right, well, we're gonna have a good time. This is what we're doing. And you're very intuitive in terms of like, even if it's Zoom, I don't know how you do it, but you do it. Where it's like she needs, and I don't know, this is a good one. I'm giving it back to you.
Okay.
Can you sense it? Like where my vibe is? And I'm at, because it's like, all right, today we're gonna do some box breathing, and I said, sure. How do you know I need some fucking box breathing? So all right, cool. I've always meant to ask you that, but yeah. So you set the tone based on how I'm coming in.
Yeah.
And what else can you ask for?
That's amazing,
right? Because as for me, if you don't, I'm not an easy client. Shocking. But if you don't capture me at the beginning, you lose me. So the beginning's your gut.
Yeah. Awesome.
Beginnings are definitely good. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's something that I do. I recognize that I'm good at, where
Mm-hmm.
I can sense energy, and there's just a different movement to your body, or maybe it's a different look in your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and I know right away.
Mm-hmm.
I know right away.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I navigate those waters that way, and
Mm-hmm.
I give you what you need at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We'll follow the structure of the program,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always about your needs first. And I'm here to guide you, and I'm here to just show you the way and guide you to success, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right. And is there any last things you want to say for anybody who is going to watch this video, who's considering, they've never worked with a coach before, um, and they have a challenge, or maybe they have a goal in their life that they don't know how to get there, or they've been trying so hard by themselves to do something? What would you share with them that would help them, take the leap of faith into this world of coaching?
Hands down, do it. Because if you here's what I've learned through this experience. If you don't have the money or the time to invest in yourself, then you're gonna have the time and the money to invest on other things to make the repairs. So it's up to you. Either you're gonna spend the hospital bills because you have a nervous breakdown, as an example,
Right.
or you spend the money and you spend it on the most valuable commodity, which is you.
Yeah.
Spend it.
Invest it.
You really just don't have nothing to lose and everything to gain in the process, because once you get to that most authentic self, it's a natural high.
Oh, I love it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And with that, I think that's a wrap. That's a great way to end it. Thank you so much, Kelly, for your time. Appreciate your candidness and your vulnerability just to be here and to share your power of this experience. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do, Coach Dave.
All right. Amazing. We'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm.